Assalamu alaikum dear students. I welcome you all to our English video session. Let's start today's session with a quote. Word is the only weightless thing on earth that makes one feel heavy. So this saying, which emphasizes that character builds your personality. So dear students, which is more important, character or personality? It's obvious that character is important. So if you build your character, personality automatically comes to you. So develop good traits. Be humble, polite, and always have a positive outlook of life. So avoid negative criticisms. So encourage others with positive criticisms. Be cheerful and at the same time make others happy. So today we shall start with Unit 1 Prose, The Portrait of a Lady by Khushwant Singh. Khushwant Singh, he was born on 2nd February 1915, died on 20th March 2014. He was a journalist, writer and a historian. He has written many famous works. So Train to Pakistan, which is considered to be the remarkable masterpiece. So Gadar, Delhi, a novel, Tragedy of Punjab, and awards. Several awards he has received. So to begin with, Khushwant Singh, he was born as Kushal Singh. So he was an Indian novelist, lawyer, journalist and a politician. He studied law at St. Stephen's College, Delhi and King's College. He joined the Indian Foreign Service in the year 1947. So, as a writer, he is best known for his secularism and love for poetry. He was awarded with Padma Bhushan in 1974 and Padma Vibhushan in the year 2007, and he has also won Sahitya Academy Fellowship in the year 2010. So, some of his works are The Mark of Vishnu, A History of Sex, The Train to Pakistan, Success Mantra, We Indians and Death at My Doorstep are his brilliant works. So students, let us start the session with an introductory note to this lesson. So the Portrait of a Lady, it's a story which gives a real picture of human relationship and it is an autobiography. So what is the difference between biography and autobiography? When you're writing about others, it is biography. When you're writing about yourself, then it is autobiography. So this story is an autobiography. So the writer, who is the writer? Khushwant Singh is the writer who gives his own perception of his grandmother. That is, he talks about his grandmother in this lesson. He describes how he had spent his childhood with his grandmother in a village. That is, how he had enjoyed with his grandmother when he was a child in a village. He also describes the relationship with his grandmother in city life. So, ultimately, he describes the death of his grandmother also. So, his description about his grandmother is very interesting and it gives a poetic touch to the lesson. So, what is the lesson about? The lesson is about the writer's perception of his grandmother. So, he describes his grandmother in his own views in this lesson. So this lesson is very interesting. So you pay attention to this lesson and kindly listen. Now let us discuss the text in detail. Coming to the text, what is the title of the lesson? The Portrait of a Lady. And who is the author? Khushwant Singh. As I said before, this story is an autobiography. So Khushwant Singh, who is the writer or the narrator, he talks about his grandmother as an old woman. He had known her for 20 years, and all the 20 years she appeared to be an old woman with wrinkled face. And it was even difficult for the author to believe that she had once been young and charming and even had a husband, because for 20 years she appeared as a same old woman. Next, the description which is shifted to the grandfather who is no more alive. So one could see the picture of grandfather which was hung on the wall of the drawing room, that is mantelpiece, and in the coming slides I will show you the picture of mantelpiece. To describe his grandfather, he wore a big turban, loose-fitting clothes, and he had a long white beard which covered his most part of his chest. So what are the three descriptions? He wore a big turban, loose-fitting clothes, and he had a long white beard which covered his most part of his chest, and he looked like 100 years old man. So seeing the picture, the author could not imagine that his grandfather could have wife and children, because he appeared to be 100 years old man, and the portrait showed that he could have lots and lots of grandchildren. So the grandmother used to tell about the games she played in the childhood, but the author considered everything as illogical and as fables. Fables is nothing but stories. Coming to the description of a grandmother, she was short, fat and slightly bent, and her face was full of wrinkles, and the author humorously remarked that for past 20 years she had been the same old woman with wrinkled face, and she had never been pretty, but she was beautiful in her way of life. That is, she appeared to be divine in nature, and she was dressed up in white clothes, and she would keep her one hand on her waist to balance her stoop. That is, she could not stand straight. She was slightly bent, and one hand she used to support her waist, and the other hand she would count the beads of a rosary, and her silvery white hair was scattered over the wrinkled face, and her lips constantly whispered prayer, and she was divine in her outlook, and she was beautiful, and she was compared to the winter landscape. That is, she is noted for her calmness, peaceful nature, and it's great pleasure to see her, according to the author. So once again, I'll repeat that she was short, fat, slightly bent in her appearance, and for past 20 years she had been the same old woman with wrinkled face, and she had been slightly bent. She could keep one hand on her waist and other hand to count the beads of rosary, and her hair, which was silvery and white in color, it was scattered all over the wrinkled face, and her lips regularly whispered prayer, and she was divine in nature and compared to the winter landscape, and she was calm, peaceful, and very pleasure to view her. So her grandmother was divine in outlook. That is, she was beautiful in the way of life. The author and his grandmother were good friends. The author's parents left the author with the grandmother, and they moved to city. And what are the routine things the grandmother used to do for the grandson, which is described in this paragraph? She used to wake him up in the morning and get him ready for school. The first point. Second is, she would tell her morning prayer, though it was boring for the author, but he was very much interested in her voice. So he used to listen to the prayers, and she used to dress him and get ready with all the items, stationery items necessary for school. That is the slate, chalk piece, ink pen, red pen, and everything. She used to bundle it, and she used to carry stale chapatis for breakfast with little butter and sugar spread on it, and they would carry to the school. On the way, she used to feed several stale chapatis to the village dogs. Stale here refers to just not very fresh, that is leftovers. The grandmother always accompanied her grandson to school because it was attached to the temple. The priest would teach the children the alphabet and the morning prayers. So the grandmother used to go with the grandson to the school, and the priest would teach the children alphabet and the morning prayers. The children would sit in the veranda and they would sing the alphabet or the prayer in chorus. What they will do? They would sing the alphabet or the prayer in chorus. While the grandmother used to sit inside the temple and she would read the scriptures. Finally, they would walk back home together. So the village dogs would follow them from the temple door to their home. So what happens? The grandmother always accompanied her grandson to the school, and the priest would teach children alphabet and the morning prayers, while the grandmother, she used to sit inside the temple and read scriptures. While they would walk back home together, the village dogs would follow them from the temple door to their home. His grandmother would feed the chapatis to the dogs. The turning point of the friendship came when they moved to the city. That is, from the village life, they shifted to the city life. Though they shared the same room, she could not accompany him to the school because the author used to go to an English school in a motor bus. So there were no dogs in the street, and the grandmother used to feed the sparrows in the courtyard of the house. Years passed away, the author used to share whatever lessons taught in the school. English words, Western science, law of gravity, Archimedes principle, music, etc. were taught in the English school. But the grandmother was not happy because there was no teaching about God and scriptures. So she was not interested to listen to other topics which was taught in the school. Next, the author moved to the university. So he was given a separate room of his own. The common link of friendship was cut off. All day, the grandmother sat spinning the wheel and reciting her prayer. She felt very lonely. So she was spinning the wheel and reciting her prayer. Her only relaxation was feeding the sparrows. She had a great love for the birds and never shooed them away. So it was the happiest half an hour of the day for her grandmother. Next, the author decided to go abroad for further studies. He was sure that his plan would upset his grandmother, and he had to stay in abroad for 5 years, and he was even doubtful whether she would be alive until he comes. The grandmother came to the railway station to send him off, but she did not exhibit any emotions. She was busy in prayers, that is, she was counting the beads of rosary. She silently kissed his forehead. He thought that it would be the last sign of physical contact between them. And after 5 years, he came back home. The grandmother came to station to welcome him. She did not speak anything. She embraced him and started her prayers. And feeding the sparrow was the best part of her day. In the evening, there was a change in her character. She did not pray for the first time. She collected the women of the neighborhood, that is, she called all the women from the neighborhood and got an old drum and started to sing. The song was related to the homecoming of the warriors, that is, she celebrated her grandson's return. The next day morning, she was ill, and the doctor said that she would be all right soon, but she knew that her end of life has come. So she decided to spend the last few hours of life reciting prayers. She did not want to waste any more time talking to anybody. So the grandmother lay peacefully in bed praying and telling her beads. Soon her lips stopped moving and the rosary fell from her fingers and she was dead. The family went to make arrangements for his grandmother's funeral. In the evening, they went to her room with a stretcher to take her body. The sunset had lit the room with golden light. They stopped halfway in the courtyard. They could see thousands of sparrows scattered on the floor all over the veranda. There was no sound of chirping. The sparrows mourned the death of his grandmother in utter silence. They ignored the breadcrumbs thrown at them by his mother. So, author's mother, she threw some breadcrumbs, but the birds did not take the breadcrumbs. They flew away silently and the body was carried for cremation. So that's the end of the story, The Portrait of a Lady.
Here is a summary of The Portrait of a Lady by Khushwant Singh. The author remembers his grandmother as an old lady like anyone's grandmother. He believes her to be eternally old and finds it extremely hard to accept that she was once young or that she played games as a child. As far back as his memories went, she was fat, short, and had wrinkles all over her face. She walked around the house with a slight stoop, praying soundlessly with a rosary in her hand. She always wore white and was as peaceful and bright as snow-covered mountains in winter. The author declares that though his grandmother was never pretty, she was definitely beautiful. As a child, the author lived with his grandmother in their village while his parents lived in the city. His grandmother used to dress him up, give him breakfast, and also drop him to the village school every day. While he learnt the alphabet in his class, she read scriptures in the temple attached to his school. After school, they walked back home together, feeding the village dogs. Things, however, began to change when the author's parents brought them to live in the city. In the city, there were no stray dogs to feed, so the grandmother took to feeding sparrows in the courtyard of the house. Though he shared a room with his grandmother, the author went to school by bus and studied modern subjects. Thus, the author's grandmother could neither accompany him to school nor help him with his studies. This, coupled with the fact that the school had no religious instruction, made her unhappy. She was also aghast to hear that they taught music at school. In her opinion, music was only for beggars or dancing girls. Later, when the author started going to the university, he was given a separate room in the house. This comprehensively snapped whatever remained of their friendship. The grandmother became more reclusive and spent her entire day sitting by her spinning wheel and reciting prayers. The high point of her day now was the half hour she spent feeding sparrows in the afternoon. The little birds surrounded her, chirping loudly and eating little bits of bread. After his university education, the author went abroad for his higher studies. Contrary to the author's expectation, she remained unemotional and just kissed him on his forehead when she saw him off. Given her age, the author was unsure if he would see her again. But she received him at the station 5 years later. There was no change in her, neither in her looks nor in her behavior. However, on his first evening back home, the author's grandmother broke her routine and celebrated his homecoming. She sang for hours on end with other ladies from the neighborhood. The next morning, she fell ill. While the doctor assured the family that she would be better soon, the old lady declared that those were her last hours. She refused to talk to anyone and demanded that she be left alone to pray. As she lay in bed, praying inaudibly as always, she passed away The author's family laid on the floor, covered it with a cloth, and left to make funeral arrangements. When they returned, a surprising sight met their eyes. Thousands of silent sparrows surrounded the dead body. They took no notice of the breadcrumbs that the author's mother scattered on the floor, and flew away just as quietly as they sat once the body was taken away for the last rites.
Coming to the assignment part, I have given 2 paragraph questions for you. Kindly answer the 2 paragraph questions. Describe author's grandmother. Compare and contrast village and city life of author's grandmother. I hope it was informative. Inshallah, we'll meet in the next session. Thank you, dear students.